Hello and welcome to the video by Trump Excel. I am Sumit Bansal, and in this video I am going to show you the Power Query options in Excel, and we will also have a look at the query editor. Now if you're using Excel 2016, then the Power Query options are in the data tab, and if I click here you can see I have get and transform data, and these are all the Power Query options. In Excel 2016, Power Query has been renamed as get and transform. If you're using Excel 2010 or 13, then you need to install the add-in, and the Power Query tab would be visible here once you have activated the add-in. We have covered this in the previous videos. Now here, as you can see, there are these options to connect Power Query to different sources. So for example, I have the get data option here, and if I click on it, it shows me all these options which I can use to connect Power Query or this Excel file to a source data. That data could be from a workbook, it could be from text file, XML, JSON, it could be databases, it could be Azure, it could be online services, or it could be any other source which can include a web or a blank query. Now there are these many different sources, and based on where you have to get your data, you can use any of these options. The process is quite straightforward. It'll ask for authentication in case you're connecting it to a database, and then you can fetch the data in the query, and once it's in the query, the process is quite straightforward no matter from where you get the data. Now there are some options that are quite frequently used, such as getting the data from text or CSV, or getting the data from web or the table or range in the workbook. So these options are also available here, but these are also available from these options. So for example, if I go to from file, then I have the text and CSV option, or if I go to other sources, I have the table and range option. So these are all already available here, but they have also been given here. Now, as I mentioned in one of the previous videos, that Power Query has been evolving, which means that the Microsoft team that's working on this may change these options in the future. They may decide to not show these options here. So what you see here, what's important to know is that these options exist. The placement, where they are, in which group they are, it might change in the future, so don't be worried about it. Then we have the recent sources option, where you can check the recent sources of the connections that you have used. You can use existing connections, you can refresh the queries, and then you have the queries and connections. If I click on it, it opens the pane here that will show you all the queries and connections that already exist in the workbook. As of now, we don't have anything. Now let me also show you the query editor. So if you go to from other sources, here I have blank query, and if I click on blank query, it opens the query editor, and this is where you would be transforming the data. So you fetch the data here, and then you change the data. Now since I have opened a blank query, there is no data in this, but when you connect your data to, let's say, a text file, or import the data from a CSV file, then you'll have the data here, and then you can transform it. Now there are these 5 options here, just like the Excel ribbon. First one is file here, which will show you how to close and load the query. You can load the query to an Excel workbook, or you can create a connection, or you can, I think, load it to a Power Pivot model. Then you have the home option. Here you have all these options where you can again close and load, which is a repetition of what we already have in file. Then you have these options. We will see how these options work in the subsequent videos, but the idea is that you just get familiar with the ribbon and the options available. So for example, there is something where you can split the column or group the columns or data. You can remove the columns, and there are all these options. Then we have the transform tab. Again, these are all the options that will help you transform your data, maybe remove duplicates, or maybe remove blank cells or null cells or errors. Then that can be done here. You can see there is an option to transform or use first row as headers, and we will see how to use these options. Then there is this option to add a column. So for example, if you import your data from a text file or a CSV file or an Excel file, and you want to add additional column to it, then you can do it by using these options, and these are quite interesting options. We'll see how to use this in subsequent videos. And then we finally have view, where you can see if you want to view the formula bar, or if you want to view the query settings and all. Now, what's very important in this query editor is this part here on the right, which is query settings. If you don't see this, you can make it visible by clicking here. So if you don't see query settings and it's not here, you simply come here, click on query settings, and it will be visible. The first thing here is the name of the query, which is not a big deal. You can name the query whatever you want, just don't have spaces in between and follow the rules that are there for the named ranges. But that is very important, which is the applied steps. Now, Power Query, when you do something in Power Query, till the time you get the data here and till the time you do all those transformation, Power Query acts as a recorder and it records all your steps here. So as of now, it has nothing because we have done nothing. We have not fetched the data. We have not done any transformation. But as you would see in the subsequent videos, when we make any changes, those steps are listed here. And you can consider it as a funnel, you can consider it as a workflow where Power Query would know exactly that this is the step that I need to follow, and then I need to go to the next step, do this, then I need to go to the next step, do this, and follow it till the end. The reason this is so important is that once you have all these steps set, you have kind of automated your work. So for example, if you have everything set here, you can change the source and refresh the query and everything would be done on the new source data. So we will see how this works, but this is a very important part, and in the rest of the video course you will see me referring to this part again and again. So this is the query editor. When you are done with the query editor, you can simply go to File, Close and Load. This would load it to the default destination, which is usually an Excel workbook, and you can also load to other positions, other places such as a connection, and we'll see how this works. So this is how the query editor works. You can close this here and you can keep the changes if you want, or you can discard the changes. We have done nothing, so we'll discard it anyway. So these are the options for Power Query, or Get and Transform as it's called, and the query editor that we have seen. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Thank you and have a nice day.